Good afternoon, and welcome to our Always in Forever podcast. We have a very special VIP, important person with us today, Jen Dulski, the founder and president, Always in Forever. And alongside me is also Cyrita Napaloo. I am Sheila Sickow. And today we're going to kind of go over Always in Forever, the background, how it got started, and just a little bit about Jen. So, Jen, welcome.
Thank you.
So, Jen, we know it's been a journey to get to where Always in Forever is now. What was your motivation to start the rescue and sanctuary?
I was standing outside of a GNC one day, and literally an idea just popped in my head, and I said, I'm going to buy a farm and start a rescue. And so I think the first person I called was my sister, and I think she told me I was crazy. And then I posted it on Facebook, and then half the people thought I was crazy, and half the people were, oh my God, that's amazing. And within a month and a half, I bought the farm, and it had an old horse barn on it, and I knew nothing about rescue. I knew nothing about training dogs. I knew nothing about running a sanctuary, but I knew that if I loved them and I could take care of them in the morning and take care of them at the night, old dogs needed a home. So the point was to start a senior dog sanctuary, and I didn't know a single soul when I moved here. So I took another leap of faith, and it's a very long story, but it all evolved to 4 years later. Now we're a full-blown rescue. We save cats and dogs, and there's no age limit to which ones we save, because if we can find a way to save one, we will.
Well, I'm glad that you met us.
The funny part is, when I think back of the time where you guys were on the farm, when you saw it as a shell, right? And we had this vision, and like I said, I moved here and I didn't know a single soul, and football had been a part of my life prior to moving here, and I had suffered a personal loss, and I took a step back away from that, and it had been a couple years, and I went back to the game, and I didn't know anyone, and I'm, for those that don't know me, I'm a very, very shy person, extreme introvert.
I know that's right.
And so I will go out of my way not to talk to every human being on this earth, and yet I will talk to every animal as if they're going to respond. But I don't even know how it came up, but we were at practice one day, and I think we were trying to fundraise, and I said, well, I'll give $1,000 to the team if everybody can come out and help. And then what evolved were amazing friendships with the most incredible people with the biggest hearts. And I say it all the time, good attracts good, and it doesn't matter what capacity, if it's in football or if it's in love of animals. You guys have been a blessing, and we are where we are today because of all the people behind it, which includes you too.
And I think boxer lovers, correct, other boxers lovers.
Very
That's
true.
what I was thinking of.
I did quite use you for your dogs.
I honestly believe Jen became friends with me just because of my dogs.
That is how I work.
But I can't picture a day without you two now. But anyways, so Jen, going back to you saying you finally just decided to take the first step, I think a lot of people have a ton of ideas and dreams and just don't know how to. So kudos to you, and thank you for the 3,000 dogs that you've rescued since making 3,000 plus dogs and cats. Correct myself. Since making that step. So you have been very successful with the shelter, and I'm sure a lot of people everything now want to know, oh, she did it. Like, I can do this. I can do this.
Yeah.
What is your quote unquote secret that made it so successful?
I used to take a lot of time and talk to people who would have the passion, and they would say, I want to do exactly what you're doing. And I would give people all my time to do that. And I've shied away from that, mostly because there is no secret sauce or magic pill. It is 100% throwing yourself into it with zero possibility of return. So what I did was, there are no grants for new rescues that are starting. Anyone who wants to start a nonprofit, if you're looking for grants, if you're looking for other people's money and other people's time, I'd say look somewhere else. I would 100% talk you out of doing it, because if you can't pour your whole heart and soul into this, and if you can't back that with giving everything you have, it may not be a lot, the way that I did it, well, I'll share. I went to 4 different banks and I said, I want to start a nonprofit, dog rescue, and I want to take out a loan. And 4 different banks laughed in my face, and I left. And the last one was Wells Fargo, and I was like, okay, I've exhausted all of these banks. I don't know why Wells Fargo pops in my head, but the woman was so nice, and we carried on like an hour conversation, and then ultimately she's like, well, we can't help you. And so I left, and I'm like defeated, and I spent probably a day. I'm like, well, I don't know what to do. And then I was like, okay, well, I have good credit. I have a great job. I've worked my entire life. I'm like, I'll just fund it. So I took out personal loans, and obviously it's higher interest rate, but if I was willing to back it up with whatever I had, I knew that once the barn was built and once people saw the vision and the dream, they would donate. So I put personal loans into it. I took $100,000 out, and that literally went poof in like 2 months to renovate the barn. And then, when that ran out, I took out another loan. When I couldn't get another loan, I started maxing out credit cards. And right when I thought I was at financial ruin, God gave me a raise where I worked. And he put the right people in my life to keep this going, because this dream is bigger than one person. We're more than just a rescue, and I could talk about this all day. So if
we have multiple episodes coming up. This is just the first of many, just so everyone is aware. We're going to dive into all of that so much more, but I think a lot of people would have given up 100 times over, like with the first no, the second no, the third no. Hearing the people, I love your vision, but we can't support you. What would you say to people who face that roadblock of, I'm going to try one more time, and if I don't get it, I'm done? Like, you just kept going. How do you find that grit inside and see, like, especially the no return?
That's a great question. I found that when I found a purpose for doing something larger, bigger than myself, to where I believed in what we could do. Obviously, it wasn't in existence yet. You have to have that passion to know that no from one person doesn't mean no from another. And even though there's not the easy way is probably never the right way. And there's lessons along everything. And when you go through a personal loss, and when you go through any loss, when someone says everything happens for a reason, you basically want to slap that person and be like, you are a moron, you don't understand. And it took quite a few years to understand that I truly do believe now everything happens for a reason, and it's up to us to decide what path we want to go down. And there's so much good in this world, and God is guiding you through it. And while I didn't see the larger picture at the time, something inside of me knew that I had to keep going. And that kind of goes back to, I grew up playing sports, and the whole thing is you fall 18 million times figure skating, and you smash your body on the ice, and you get back up. And then the next time you land it, and then you land it more and more, and you become consistent. But failure, you're only a failure when you stop trying. And so I knew we were going to succeed.
For those that didn't know, Jen grew up figure skating. So when she is talking about...
there is not a sport that
axe throwing.
I am a very good axe thrower. I throw it very hard.
We have proof on Facebook.
So, Jen, with you facing everybody saying no, having the bigger vision, but also being a shy individual that is, I'm going to call you introverted.
Totally.
How did you get other people to finally buy in and see the same vision that you had?
So, funny story. I know I have shared this. Some people have heard this. When I first moved to Kansas, I had never owned land or even been on land, right? I grew up in a city. Everything was urban. I basically grew up in an ice rink. I don't do bugs. I don't like nature. It's hot, it's sticky, and I'm afraid of everything. And I was outside, and it was the first time that I could allow my dogs. I had 2 dogs at the time, Muggsy and Libby, and Muggsy is dog aggressive, so I could never have her off leash. And it was the very first time I had her off leash. And so she's off leash, Libby's off leash. I had my headphones on, and I'm literally standing in the middle of the pasture, singing The Sound of Music because I'm like, there are no neighbors. It is wrong. Well, it gets better. And then, my eyes are closed, my arms are out, I'm just singing, and I'm like, I'm in my own world on my own little farm. Right. And my big secret is I love to sing. I am not the greatest singer, but if you come by the farm at 4 a.m., I'm totally singing to the dogs. But anyways, my eyes are shut, my arms are out, and a neighbor pulls in, and so she's waving her arms up and down, jumping at me. It turned out to be Stephanie, a neighbor up the road, and I shared the dream with her, and she told all the neighbors about it. And once people hear that somebody is actually doing something, they want in. Everybody wants to help. I find that one of the biggest challenges is people don't know how. They don't know how to become a part of a rescue. And when I started this rescue, I would find in the rescue community, people would say, well, you're new to rescue. You don't know, you don't have the background in it. You don't know what it's like. And it was even to the point where some people didn't want to give us their dogs. And I didn't care if I was new to rescue. I didn't care if anyone was new to rescue. I cared if you loved these animals, because that's all that it's about. And you asked earlier, what's your secret? The secret is love, and if you put it into everything you do, even when you screw it up with the best intentions, good things are going to come from it. You just have to be willing to try.
I love all of that, but I cannot get over the vision in my head now. And I need a movie made out of it. If anybody listening has a connection to a producer, but I need a reenactment of Jen frolicking in a pasture, singing The Sound of Music, and someone driving up and witnessing
this. And nobody knows what I look like, too. So it's like, you picture me doing that. That is so not me. But it gives you the chance to step outside yourself. I think that's what I love most about being with the animals is they don't care. They don't care if you look like a disaster or smell bad. Half the time I've got poop on me. It doesn't matter. I woke up with more bad days than good days at the time. I needed to change that. I had just started to find joy in life again, and my joy came through giving my time to helping animals and being with people who had the same vision and love.
So moving into that, and that is obviously a very good memory that you have of the farm.
Awesome.
I want to go around and kind of each share a favorite memory that you have so far.
Okay, Sheila, you start.
Thanks, Sai. I would have to say and overall, whenever I think of Always and Forever, any event I've been to volunteer or to bring my dogs to, it is always organized chaos.
Yes.
Fun to the max and all out. We have gone to a Halloween race, and everyone was in a costume.
0.1K. The very
0.1K.
No training involved.
No training involved. I believe Lily was not. She didn't even do the 0.1K. She was in the trailer. We went to the first Pride Parade held at the farm, Pop's Thanksgiving, and just all the different events. And we just come up with an idea, and I told Sai, since I kind of started working at the other farm, I can just come up with an idea that's going to be fun. And I've never been in an organization or something where it's like, done, let's make it happen. Yeah. Like, it's going to make a difference. The dogs are going to love it, and we're going to do it. So overall, just...
Well, and I'll jump in on that. I was just sharing with someone the other day. We pride ourselves in putting the ridiculous back in rescue, because... know, and everybody says this all the time, and it is a cliche, and you kind of brush it over. None of us are guaranteed tomorrow. We don't know that, but these dogs have shown us that for them, time truly is precious. And if we wait for them to find their family, and we wait for someone else to love them and someone else to bring them joy in the silly moments, you forgot that your girls were also in our Super Senior Doggo Bowl when the Kansas City Chiefs won that year. We had our own. We didn't make the media, but it was quite an event.
That was before TikTok.
It was before TikTok.
That was before you could have gone viral.
We should have gone viral, but the whole thing is, and we had our spa weekend this weekend.
Results posting. The winner will be a little gray.
We'll see about that.
We do not lose.
But and all those events too. I do want to be clear that I sponsor those events, so we never use donor money for that, which is also important. But for me and for this organization, the people are just as important as the animals. So how we treat our people, we got to have fun. We did the 2020 Summer Olympics. So we had a 100-foot slip and slide on the farm. And so we put soap and hoses. We had pools up, we had hurdles. We were doing events every day. And then at the end, in the beginning, we did an opening and closing ceremony. We had the torch. We had the American flag out. And Sally Sue won. I'm pretty sure she won.
We're already training here for the next Olympics. So
we have sledding in the winter. It's so wonderful. Here, you guys have a great hill back here. We have sleds, and if it brings you joy, it's going to bring the animals joy. So it's just carrying it over in however you do it, because all they do is live for your love. And we take the ones that nobody else wants. They're sitting in shelters. They're forgotten. They're abandoned, and they're actually usually mostly crazy and have behavioral issues and sometimes bite, and they're just disasters, but they're beautiful messes, and at one point I was too, and so
aren't we all?
It's all good things, and I say that, and I don't mean that we're perfect, because there is no one on this earth who has made more mistakes than I have when it comes to this rescue, and I learn it every day, and we're on such an incredible journey with our homestead, and we'll talk about that another time, I know. But I can keep talking, Sheila, so you go ahead.
Well, I think it's over to Sai. Sai, how is
the question?
Just memory, or how Always and Forever, since you've come into it, has kind of affected your life?
For me, most memorable, and I am continuing to make memories, is just being a part of Always and Forever. I know Jen always tells me that, take it easy. I have a full-time job. I work here part-time, and then my kids keep me busy, and Jen's like, take it easy. But I don't know if you know this, but this is like my getaway. This is like my outlet. Being here with the dogs, favorite memories, fostering. Blitz was a favorite of mine. Blitz had been adopted, correct?
Yep.
Nas is a little Great Barn pup here, and I was able to take him home. My kids fell in love with him. Also with Duke. Duke came over. I love making memories with, the dogs that I foster with my kids too. Just being here, loving the dogs, and I want to see them. Like, I miss them. I actually want to get away from my kids to come see the dogs. Is that sad?
No, it's not sad. And so I will share, I for those that don't know, I do the 5 a.m. to 7:30 in the morning shift every single day. I get up at 4 and take care of mine. Sometimes I sneak in a workout, and then I go over there. But if I don't do that, I miss out on my joy with them. It's never work. And when this becomes work, that's when you take a break. And I encountered times where we lose that joy. We lose the focus of why we're doing what we're doing, because it's not okay to just save a life because you pull them from a shelter. If you stick them in a box and you forget about them and you get overwhelmed and you focus on the negative and the death and the horrors of shelters and the reality of life, suffering is everywhere. We make a conscious choice to focus on the good, the light, and to share that with each other. And there's so much joy in this world, and I'm just so that have made it possible.
And I think going into fostering too, that's going to be a whole other episode, future pitch right there. But especially with the side of having kids in sports, traveling a full-time job, when you are able to fit that into your schedule, it makes such a difference for the dogs here that can just go out, and your kids get to experience having a dog and that responsibility of feeding, walking, but not full time, but also giving those outlets for the dogs to get out of here, and the content that you get and push out for other families to see dog in a family environment is so significant.
Well, and one of the most wonderful things, shockingly, that came out of COVID was we really had to close our doors during the height of the pandemic. And one day, again, I swear it's a God thing, because these ideas are not mine. It just popped in my head, and I thought, well, let's just do doggy dates, and we'll have someone come, pick up a dog, we'll put a dog on a 6-foot leash with social distance. They can take them in the car, take them for an outing, and it works wonders for people that can't take the dog home, but they bring their kids, they take them to sign, they have a pup cup. It just lightens up the whole dog's world. I say this all the time, their time is the most precious thing you can give anyone, because it's the one thing you can never get back. And when you give your time to an animal, they're going to love you forever for that, and they'll remember that time with you. So every little thing that you can do to be a part of a rescue, whether it's ours or someone else's, you really are making a difference. And that's the most special part that people don't realize.
So I'm going to have a little teaser question here for you. We're going to dive into it full force again in the episode. But what is the future for Always and Forever?
If you had asked me that 3 years ago, I would probably say just to stay at Senior Sanctuary, save as many as we can. But we evolved from a sanctuary to a rescue, and then we evolved from dogs to saving cats. And we never really had this. I was never a person that had, okay, it has to be 8 years old for a big dog, or it has to be 14 for a little. God, why would we let a 6-year-old dog die if, there's stipulation on that? A year ago, I think it was just over a year ago, we started to talk about purchasing land. And right when I had moved in to the farm, there was 40 acres behind us. And I had talked with Amy, one of our very first volunteers, about purchasing this land. And we couldn't find the seller. We didn't know who the owners were. And then we found out it was in a trust. And it was like 4 siblings. And yes, this is a very long story of that. So I'm going to jump ahead. Our future is we have now purchased the 40 acres behind us. Again, it's another God thing that has brought us there. But that is our homestead. We will have 5 or 6 barns on that. We will have our own veterinarian service. We will not only take care of our animals, but we'll offer help to the community and residents in need who need healthcare for their animals and can't afford it. We will have a community center where Sunday mornings we will have Senior Pancake Sunday. So senior citizens are going to come, and you're going to have senior dogs there, and we're going to have so many community events. And it will be the future of rescue, and to set the standard that is modeled after love and joy and treating them like our own.
That's what everyone needs every day.
Sorry, yes, there will be a feline facility, because I always forget the cats. If Beth hears this, there will be a feline facility. I promise. Shout out to Beth and the cats. Yes.
So kind of wrapping up, I kind of just want to go around one more time and give one quote or the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the words Always and Forever, and just kind of what it means to you and why all 3 of us are sitting here today and want to share the world about the love that we've found and want to give to these animals. And who wants to go first?
I can go first. So when I purchased the farm, I'll share, this house never went on the market, and it's such a beautiful story of being heaven connected. And the owners had just gone through a loss of their daughter, and I was connected with someone else who put me in contact with a realtor, and everything just aligned to where it really was meant. I was meant to be there, and this was meant to happen. When I went to see the house the first time, she put a bottle of wine on the porch, and she's like, just sit here and take it all in. And I don't drink, so it was very kind. I think I gave it back. But after I purchased it, she wrote a beautiful note, and I don't remember what the note said, other than the ending one said, she wrote, "It will always be hard work, but it's never too late for happily ever after." And I stole that from her, and that is our tagline. So borrow and gift totally stolen. Okay. It really is. It's going to be hard. It will always be hard, but it's always going to be worth it. And so I can go on off of that, but it is never too late for happily ever after.
You know what? My always and forever is who would have known that a Samoan girl like me from the streets of Long Beach, Compton, California.
I was going to say, I love how different every single one of our backgrounds are. Yeah, all 3 of us are sitting in this room sharing this passion.
Who would have thought someone female like me would be loving these dogs like I do at Always and Forever? That's my Always and Forever, because you can never imagine. You love dogs? Yes.
I'm not going to lie, when Jen was like, Cyrita's going to start working at the shelter, I'm like, does she like dogs?
That's what she said.
I'm like, does I like dogs? Because I didn't know. I'm like, here's she been having this.
I love dogs more than I love people. And it was one day with my kids, and I was talking to Nas at home, and my kids were like, Mom, why do you talk to Nas like Nas one of us? Because I love Nas just as much as I love you.
Nas was the foster dog she had for a week.
Why are you talking to him like that? I'm like, how do you want me to talk to him? Like, he's a dog? No, he's like one of my kids. Nah, sit down, behave. Anyways, I don't know if that makes sense, but that's my reason forever.
It doesn't have to make sense to anyone
Well,
else.
every morning I talk to the dogs and I say good morning. I have a conversation with them. I don't know why they don't respond, but I feel like they respond to me. So it's so funny because I was the person that got teased for talking to dogs like that too, and you have to be able to not care what others think, and just put yourself out there and be you and be real. And all of us are different, and I tell our staff that some of us talk in really baby voices, and it's like so funny because you wouldn't expect that, but your personalities come out when you just let down on your defenses and you just love, and that's what's so special to me.
I am so looking forward to the future of all of this. So this was our first episode, so bear with us as we just stumble along. We fall forward.
Yes.
I will say that. We're going to fall forward with this. But our goal is to dive into more of the topics that we kind of brushed on today and give a full background of Always and Forever, adoption, fostering, fundraising, our impact around the world, cats and kittens. Wow, that's hard to say fast. We want to just share ins and outs of Always and Forever in the sanctuary and the doggone, what was it?
Doggone Truth.
Doggone Truth of Always and Forever is the name of our podcast. I forgot about it there for a second. So our next episode coming up is we're going to go over where do these dogs come from? How do they get to Always and Forever and cats? Where do the dogs and cats get to always the process from there? So thank you both for joining, being a part of this.
Yeah, let me say goodbye.
You ended it.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.
Until next time.